Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm taking along my evening routine, showing you how I relax and reset at the end of my day. Earlier this year, I decided to quit my job because I was burned out. I had anxiety attacks every single day. I was chronically stressed, had brain fog, and was constantly tired. So I've been doing my best in the last couple of weeks to get a better quality of sleep. I'm trying not to be too hard on myself. If there's a day that I miss some of the steps in my night routine, that's completely fine. So yeah, try not to compare yourself too much to others. If you implement at least one good thing into your routine, that's already a huge progress and you can be proud of yourself. This nighttime routine helped me tremendously. I no longer lay restlessly in bed at night, I can fall asleep within minutes. And I rarely wake up in the middle of the night now. Since I became self-employed, I now get to work on my own terms, but that also means that I'm responsible for each and every aspect of my work. I no longer have coworkers that I can rely on, and there's a lot of work to be done. Because of that, I work a lot more hours than I used to. I choose to work on weekends now because I don't want to work more than 8 to 9 hours a day. So working on weekends allows me to have more flexibility during my week. I used to work until 9, sometimes 10 p.m. What I didn't realize is that my brain can turn off for a few hours until I shut down my computer. So I had to set boundaries and make sure I devote at least 2-3 hours to wind down before I go to sleep. My favorite thing to do after a long day of work is to go for a walk. It's usually the beginning of my evening routine. That's when I stop working for the day and start to relax. After moving back to California from Texas, we enjoy that part of our routine even more since the weather here is so perfect. You can tell that it's beginning to feel like fall here. There's a slight change in light, some trees start to turn red, even though the temperatures are still pretty mild during the day. We started ordering a subscription box. It comes with sourdough bread and other goodies that we can bake at home. And since we both work, that is a true time saver. Their croissants, cookies, and plain sourdough bread are definitely my favorite. After work, I usually like to do some cleaning chores. I know it might sound funny, but cleaning is actually a calming activity for me. I don't have a chores plan, I usually clean as needed, so when I see the laundry pile is getting bigger, I just pick it up and throw it in the wash. It takes me less than 2 minutes to do, and I gotta say, doing laundry is probably my favorite cleaning activity. Tony is usually the one doing majority of cooking. He enjoys it way more than me. That's his chore of chores. And also waking our pup first thing in the morning. I do not like that. So I usually get up when they are back from their morning walk. We don't always cook dinner at home. Tony loves to go out to try new restaurants in the area, and we obviously can't complain. Food in LA is great. But there's something about cooking meals at home that really relaxes me, and maybe it's because I used to cook with my grandma when I was little, and it was my favorite thing, so I always cherish these moments. Cooking together is a really nice bonding experience, and we get to catch up and check in with each other after a day of work. Tonight, Tony is making pasta with some sun-dried tomatoes, onion, garlic, and cheese. I'm not a big fan of pasta. I used to be, but recently I've been preferring lighter dinners. Noodles are just a little too filling for me. After dinner, we love to watch some TV. We've been rewatching Dr. House and The Office. After I finished watching 5 Days at Memorial on Apple TV and then High Water on Netflix, I didn't see anything new that was interesting. So let me know your TV show recommendations. Tony made us wild green cookies as a dessert. They are pretty rich, so we don't have them every night, but man, they are delicious. Usually after an hour of watching TV, I'm moving on to the next part of my night routine, and it's of course skincare. My skincare is pretty minimal at the moment. I don't use a ton of products, but I have a few favorite ones, like that Laneige lip balm and CeraVe moisturizing cream. After brushing my teeth, I check if the laundry is done and then I move it to the dryer. And now it's time for yoga. The reason why I like to do it at night is because it forces me to be present as well as practice deep breathing. I've been suffering from congestion at night, and whenever I do yoga, I feel like it really helps me. Also, I sometimes manage to convince Tony to do yoga with me, but he usually gets bored and then leaves in the middle of it. Temperature at night is pretty important. If it's too warm or too cold, I always wake up in the middle of the night, and then I usually feel pretty tired during the day. So in order to get a full night of sleep, preparation is key. Making sure my bedding is appropriate. On warmer days, I use quilt, and on colder days, I just switch to a regular comforter. I recently had to replace my down bedding because my ENT recommended it, and I definitely sleep better with a down alternative duvet. I got one at IKEA, and it's alright, but it's quite heavy and it's shorter than my previous one, which is so weird because I got the same king size. So if you have any recommendations for a down alternative duvet that is fluffy, not too heavy, and it's a regular size, then please let me know. I rarely use AC anymore, and that's because since we moved back to LA, I can finally sleep with the windows open at night, and I love that. I'm so grateful. It's such a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. When we lived in Dallas, there was no way we could open the windows at night. It was just usually too humid and we had to run AC at night. We use a device called Awair. It's an air quality monitor that I got at Amazon, and we've been using it since we moved to Dallas. And I remember seeing very high CO2 at night, pretty much every night, when we are still living in Dallas. And that was mostly because we kept our windows closed, and buying more plants didn't really help with that. So yeah, now since we keep our windows open, we don't have that issue anymore. Okay, something else that we need to talk about is your mattress. Most of my life, I thought mattress didn't really matter. As long as it was not too firm or not too soft, I was happy. But I like to sleep on my side and on my back. So that means not all mattresses will be right for me. For the longest time, I loved memory foam mattresses. But Tony actually hates them because they get very hot at night. I personally don't really notice that because I sleep very cold. So I like to be very warm at night. But he convinced me to get a latex mattress. So we decided to try out Taft & Needle, and funny enough, it was because our picky dog Tortellino, he loves his bed. That bed is made by Taft & Needle. So since their mattresses were fairly priced, and they also had great return policy and also next day delivery. Since we are moving and we are leaving our old mattress with Tony's family, we had to buy a different mattress for our new place. And honestly, I didn't expect to be as happy with this mattress as I am. It's probably the most comfortable mattress I've ever had. And we went through a lot of mattresses. So yeah, a good mattress is as important as everything else mentioned in this video. And I would say it's maybe even more important. I feel like the mattress actually made the biggest difference in my sleep quality. Last year, after my annual eye checkup, I was diagnosed with dry eye, so my ophthalmologist recommended me to use a warm eye compress. I've been using this heated USB eye mask for a year now, and it actually makes a difference. The heat from the warm compress helps to improve oil gland function and increase oil flow into the eyes, stabilize the tear film, and slow down tear evaporation. And it's also very relaxing to use before bed, which is an additional perk. After that, sometimes I'm tired enough to fall asleep right away, but whenever I still feel pretty awake, I like to read on my Kindle. I'm currently reading How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LePera. It's a self-help book that teaches how to recognize destructive behaviors and work through them. So this portion of the video is supposed to be sponsored by one of the companies. They decided not to pay me for work I already did for them, and you probably wonder what happened. Well, here it is. This collaboration was in the works for weeks. Everything seemed to be great. I like the product. I actually owned it before working with the brand, so I had plenty of time to test it out, and I was honestly extremely excited to work with this brand since I already owned the product, I liked it, and I had a lot to talk about it. They were super easy to work with. We set a date for publishing the video, and then I got COVID. I was sick for over 2 weeks. I could blame myself for getting sick, but honestly, I couldn't predict that. I did everything I could not to get sick. I got vaccinated, and I really thought that I wouldn't get it. They were very easy to work with, so as soon as I got sick, I contacted them and I asked to push the deadline, and they were extremely understanding. They pushed the date, no problem. They said that even if we don't meet that deadline, they can push it again. No problem, just take your time, feel better. So I was I felt so lucky that they were so understanding and just so nice. So after I got better, I finished the video like we discussed, and I contacted them to remind them about sending me the first payment, because that's what we agreed on. We agreed that they send me first half of the payment before publishing the video. I just had so much respect for the brand, so I just trusted them that they will do the right thing. I guess I was naive because I was I didn't expect that they would do something weird, and they did. So they were all great. Everything seemed to be just perfect. And as soon as I asked for the first payment, everything changed. Their tone changed. I mean, I understand that current economic situation in the world is not great. And I can see, I work at a marketing agency. I can see how, some companies may just cut the budget and decide not to pursue certain projects. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just, decided to pull out the deal. The thing is that how they handle it was extremely unprofessional, and I didn't expect that. They were very rude. They decided to blame me for everything. They said that because I caused delays, because I was sick, I have to work with them on their new terms. So everything that we discussed, everything that was in the contract, basically they said that it's not valid anymore. The payment situation changed too. They, what we discussed before, how they were gonna send the payment through what service, they changed that too. So many red flags. So yeah, I decided to just pull out from this project because clearly I really doubt they would pay me. I just wish they would just be upfront with me. If they cut the budgets, whatever happened, I just wish they would tell me and say, I'm sorry, things happened. We can pay you for this video. I put a lot of work into it. I still enjoy working on this video, and I hope it's gonna bring value to you guys. This video is not sponsored. None of the products that I mentioned in this video, I got paid for. I bought them with my own money, and I want to talk about it. So my pillowcases and my hair ties are from Slip. I usually buy them at Nordstrom online. I'm gonna link all the products down below in the description. Some of the links will be affiliate links, so that means that I earn certain percentage of those products, and that helps to support me and my channel. So thank you so much if you decide to make a purchase with these links. And my pajama, my silk pajama, that I get a lot of comments asking me about it. It's from Lunya. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Lunya. It's also available at Nordstrom. Yeah, I actually buy a lot of products at Nordstrom because they have pretty great return policy and they treat people well. So, satisfaction guarantee. And for now, here are a few benefits of silk. I'm a huge fan of silk pillowcases and silk pajamas. I've been using these silk products for years now, and I want to share a few benefits of silk. Silk is a natural temperature regulator, and it's very breathable. So if you hate waking up all sweaty in the middle of the night, silk pajamas and silk sheets should help with that. One of the main reasons I decided to try silk pillowcases is because silk helps lessen hair breakage and prevents hair frizz. So yeah, I no longer look like a Chewbacca after I wake up. Since I started using silk pillowcases, I've noticed that I stopped having issues with sleep wrinkles. And it's probably because silk is less likely than cotton to have resistance against the skin. And one last thing, silk is also great for people struggling with allergies, as it does not attract dust mites and it's a natural mold and fungal repellent. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and comment. I'll see you next week in a new video. Thanks so much for watching.